Family of Heartland, welcome back. Today, we are diving into one of the most emotional, long-awaited and powerful episodes in Heartland history. The grand return of Ty Borden in Season 19, Episode 1. That is correct. Ty Borden returns to Heartland in a shocking, emotional and profoundly meaningful manner after years of heartbreak, unanswered questions, and what seemed like an impossible goodbye. Ty is very important to Amy, the whole family, and us, the viewers. If you've been watching Heartland since the beginning, the series' soul has been shaped by his journey, love, and sacrifices. The Fleming-Borden family's old wounds are reopened, deep love is rekindled, and a brand new path is set by his return. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell before we begin this emotional journey so you don't miss any more Heartland Season 19 and beyond updates. And, of course, I want to hear from you in the comments. How did you feel when you saw Ty again? Did you weep? Did you scream in shock? Or was it more like a dream to you? Let's talk about it because the breakdown today is about more than just a character's return. It is also about love returning, family healing, and hope returning home. The episode begins with a quietness that feels almost sacred. We see Amy brushing Spartan down in the stillness of the morning, the gentle golden light touching the fences, the horses grazing peacefully, and the ranch at dawn. There is a sense of routine and that time has passed. However, Amy's face gets a little more attention from the camera. There is a shadow that hides in her eyes, a quiet sorrow that never quite goes away. Ty's absence continues to be a part of her life even after all these years. It exists in the spaces he once filled, the empty side of the bed, the barn door he used to open, the sound of his voice that no longer echoes in the hallways. Here, Heartland takes its time. It does not accelerate Ty's return. It gets us ready. It has the impression that each shot and scene is a love letter to the past. Amy passes Ty's old workbench, which is still set up as he left it. Lindy, holding a photo of her parents, plays quietly nearby. There's a pause in the air, tension building. Jack and Tim look at each other at breakfast as if they are aware of something coming but are unable to express it. Lou, meanwhile, is on the phone, speaking in hushed tones to someone unnamed, possibly arranging something important. Then it occurs. Amy receives a call from an unknown number. She initially ignores it. Her face, however, changes when it rings again, and she finally picks it up. There's a long pause. Her hand trembles, her lips quiver, and then she drops the phone. The display goes black. That's how Heartland sets the stage, not with a lot of show, but with a lot of emotion, silence, and tension that makes your chest hurt. We know something life-changing is about to happen. The only question is when or how. When Amy sees Ty again, the world doesn't stop. It explodes. She is brushing Spartan in the barn without any idea that anything is about to change. As someone enters behind her, the camera pans slowly. The steps are gentle, familiar. She doesn't turn at first, thinking it must be Tim or Jack. However, she then hears his voice. She breaks down the barriers she has built up over the years with just one word. Ames. Amy stops breathing. She stays still. Her eyes expand. Her hands drop to her sides. She turns slowly, and there he is. Borden Ty, standing in the doorway, worn, older, tears still in their eyes, albeit alive. Amy stays still. She looks at him as though her mind won't let her, but her heart wants to believe. She whispers, "You're not real." "You can't be." Ty takes a cautious step forward. "Ames, I'm here. I'm here. I promise." She moves slowly toward him, shaking in her hands as she reaches out. She begins with his chest and then his face. She can feel his beating heart. The tears fall before the words do. Ty catches her as her knees sag. In that moment, nothing else matters. The years apart, the pain, the questions, all that matters is that he's real, and he's home. The emotional journey of Amy is only beginning. She pours out her grief, her strength, and everything in between. This isn't just a reunion, it's an emotional resurrection. Ty and Amy are seated in the loft where their dreams once resided, later that evening. Questions abound in the air. Amy is silent, her face still streaked with tears. Finally, Ty begins. He says, "They told you I didn't make it the day I got shot, but that's not what happened." He explains how he was rushed into emergency surgery at a different trauma centre after being misidentified by another patient's ID. The hospital, overwhelmed and understaffed, mistakenly logged him as deceased. Ty actually fell into a coma. He had his identity wrong. He lost his records. He was a ghost in the system for months. No name, no family, just a broken man fighting to survive. Ty claims, "When I finally woke up, I couldn't remember anything. Not my name, not where I was from. You, not..." Amy's tears fall freely. "You were just gone." Ty sighs. "The recollection of the events took more than a year. By that time, I was in a remote northwestern rehab facility. No way to contact anyone. I also thought you might have moved on when I finally remembered. Maybe I caused more pain than healing." Amy's rage follows her pain. "You assumed I would move on. You said Lindy didn't need her dad, didn't you?" Ty bows his head. "I was scared. I was scared to the point where I couldn't come back, but I was wrong." The conversation is heartbreaking, but it also offers closure. Ty didn't leave. He was lost. He has also successfully returned home. Perhaps the most innocent yet profoundly moving moment in the episode is Lindy's reaction to seeing Ty, her father, whom she only knew from old pictures and bedtime stories. She enters the living room with her stuffed pony in her hand, unaware that her life is about to undergo a radical transformation. Amy crouches beside her, tears still fresh in her eyes, and gently says, "Sweetheart, there's someone here I want you to meet." Her blue eyes are wide and curious as she looks up. She looks at Ty, and for a brief second, the world falls into slow motion. There is no yelling. There is no edgy music, merely silence. After that, Lindy softly inquires, "Are you my daddy?" Her vulnerability and purity make her voice more powerful than any dramatic monologue could ever be. Ty crouching slowly, his hands shaking, he wonders if he should respond. But he nods, tears streaming down his face. "Yes, child, I'm your daddy." With her tiny fingers reaching out to touch his cheek, Lindy quietly examines his face with intense focus. "You look like the man in the picture Mommy keeps in her room," she says softly. She then whispers, "I knew you'd come," as she wraps her tiny arms around his neck without warning. In that moment, every ounce of regret, pain, and longing in Ty's heart melts away. His daughter is here. And somehow, despite not having met him, she accepts him wholeheartedly. There is no resentment, fear not, just the powerful, healing love of a child who believes in the impossible. When she first sees him standing in the ranch house, alive, real, and looking like a man pulled back from the edge of the world, her heart skips a beat. But her emotions don't unravel into joy right away. Lou has always been the one to keep everyone safe, fix things, and be strong for them all. When Ty was presumed dead, she held Amy together through countless nights of tears, made sure Lindy had a father figure in every storybook she read, and buried her own grief for the sake of the family. Therefore, Lou's first reaction when Ty appears before her is not relief, but pain. "Do you have any idea what you put us through?" she demands, shaking her voice. Amy was shattered. Lindy wept for a person she had never met, and Her voice falters, but the fire in her eyes says it all. Knowing that no defense can undo the years, Ty listens quietly. "I'm sorry," he says simply. "I thought staying away would hurt less than coming back too late." The walls begin to fall down, however, as the time passes, and Lou observes Amy light up in ways she hasn't seen since Ty vanished, and Lindy finally laughs with her father. That night, she sits beside Tai on the porch, her anger softened. She whispers, "You may not deserve forgiveness yet. However, your presence is what they required. It meets our requirements." Lou is willing to begin, even though she is not yet ready to fully open her heart. She is protective, hurt, and cautiously hopeful in her response. And in the end, it's that hope that defines her journey in this episode. Georgie returns from her riding circuit just in time. She sees Tai, the man who helped shape her life, and she enters the kitchen, still covered in road dust. She freezes. Her hands shake. "Tai!" she whispers. "Is it really you?" Tai beams. "You've grown up." They embrace, and she cries into his shoulder. "I believed I would never see you again." Later they watch Phoenix in the paddock from the porch. Georgie says, "You taught me to be brave, even when I didn't want to be." Tai puts his hand on hers. "And you remind me why I came back." She is strong and mature, and it shows. She's not the girl she was. She is a woman who has overcome loss, found meaning, and is now embracing joy once more. Late at night, when the house is quiet, the stars are high above the Heartland sky, and Tai and Amy finally have a moment to themselves, is the episode's most moving moment. In the loft, surrounded by firelight and the kind of silence that can only come from sharing a grievance, they sit. At first, Amy is unable to look at him. She is worried that this will pass, that everything will vanish. Tai takes her hand gently and apologizes in his voice, saying, "I don't deserve this moment, I know that. But I've thought about you every day, every night. Your face was always there, even when I wasn't sure who I was." Amy turns to him, eyes filled with tears. She mumbles, "You left me in pieces. I spent years trying to survive, trying to raise our daughter without ever knowing how to tell her why her daddy was gone." Tai's voice cracks. "I know, and I will never forgive myself for what you went through." The pain is boiling to the surface as Amy stands and walks. "You don't simply return and expect everything to return to normal," he sighs. "I don't. I just want a chance to get my life back." There's silence. Then Amy sits beside him again. She says, "I never stopped loving you," her voice shaking. "Even when I hated you, even when I thought you were dead, I never stopped." They lean into each other, foreheads pressed together, when Tai touches her face. He whispers, "Then let's build something new. A better life than the one we had, one we fight for, one that we guard." Amy and Tai rekindle their relationship with a breath, a shared promise, and an unbreakable bond, not with a kiss, not in a perfect fairy tale, but in something deeper, something real. That concludes Tai Borden's powerful, moving, and unforgettable grand return in the season premiere Heartland fans. We sobbed, we recovered, we once more believed. If you felt the emotions just as deeply, drop a comment below. What was your favourite moment? What do you think comes next for Amy, Tai, and Lindy? Make sure you subscribe, like, and enable notifications so that you never miss our next Heartland deep dive. Thank you for watching, thank you for believing, and until we meet again,